I want to give a ton of shine to Jonathan India, who I think immediately has gone up the fan favorite power rankings very quickly for people in this city to watch him play. And he earned a ton of favor in that clubhouse, I'm sure. One Royal Way back at it here on Kansas City Sports Network. I'm Joel Penfield. Thank y'all so much for tuning into this episode midweek here after the first two games of the series against the Milwaukee Brewers. Be sure to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Hit like on the video and hit those notification bells so you know when all our episodes go up Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then be sure to subscribe over on the audio side as well, both on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And be sure to hit those notification bells on there. Put those push notifications on your phone so you know when our episodes go up. They'll be right there for you. Split the series so far, 1-1 in Milwaukee. Won on Monday afternoon and then lost on Tuesday night in a stinker, frankly. It was not a real pretty one from the jump. So there'll be a rubber match tomorrow afternoon, Wednesday afternoon from Milwaukee. Cole Reagans versus Freddie Peralta. I'll talk about that here in a little bit. Before we dive into these last couple of games, the show, as always, brought to you by Emprise Bank. Our partner is Impossible member FDIC. We can't thank them enough for their support of One Royal Way and everything we do here at KCSN. Royals win on Monday, 11-1. It was a thumping from the very beginning. You get 4 runs in the first couple of innings. We'll talk about the offense, which was obviously fantastic in that particular game. But we have to start with Chris Bubic. He was incredible in that game. First start since April 15th of 2023, back in the rotation after being in the bullpen last year as he worked back from Tommy John surgery. And he earned that start. It was a battle with Daniel Lynch, is how it was phrased during spring training. But he earned that start, and he sure showed why he earned that start. He goes out there and goes 6 shutout. 8 strikeouts, only gave up 3 hits, and only one of those hits left the infield. The other 2 were infield singles. There was really only 2 balls hit to the outfield on him the entire time he was out there. A lot of weak contact, not a lot of good swings from the Brewers against him. The fastball was working really well. He got up to 95. He averaged around 92.5, which is perfectly manageable for him when he's around 92, 93, 94. And even when the velocity started to dip as the pitch count got up, he was still getting swings and misses because the carry that he gets on his fastball was still playing really well. He got 15 swings and misses in this game from the Brewers, 10 of those on the fastball. That first inning, I nearly said some NSFWs type stuff. Watching that just blew the doors off of Jackson Chourio, Christian Yelich, and William Contreras to start that game. Just no problem. And he looked so confident and comfortable. I was like, okay, this is real interesting. Like you don't know what to expect. I've said it before. I was in the camp of a little bit of skepticism with him going back to the rotation because I thought he was so good in the bullpen. It was not that I thought he couldn't handle going back to the rotation. I thought he was so good in that role that maybe that's just where his niche is in the big leagues. But with new information, I'm obviously going to change my opinion. He was fantastic. I want to see him continue to replicate it, but a really good jumping off point here for Chris Bubic. And he also had the 2 breaking balls working, the sweeper and the slider. Not really like he does not really throw on the curveball anymore. The slider is a little bit of a harder pitch to pair with the fastball. It's kind of cutter, slutter, if you will, ish. And then the sweeper has some of that carry. He was able to throw that from the left side, kind of like the carry sweeper that Seth Lugo throws, that kind of is at the top of the zone and with that horizontal break. Got some ugly swings on it, got some pop-ups, and guys, their eyes light up seeing a hanger, but couldn't make, good contact on it. He didn't use his changeup a ton, but he got some good fade. He flashed it enough. So the 4-pitch mix was really good for him. It shows he threw a couple sinkers, but it was really just the 4-seamer. Still some things to work on. He got into some trouble with some walks and a hit by pitch in the second inning, I believe it was. There were some times where the command did fail him a little bit, particularly trying to spot the fastball on the glove side. So on the into a righty away from a lefty. And he wasn't like he was missing by much. You could tell he was just a hair off getting to that spot. So if he's able to clean some of those things up, makes him a little more well-rounded. But this is a really good floor if this is where he's going to end up. Now, I don't know if this is a floor type start for him. Obviously, 6 shutty in your first outing. I don't think it's necessarily that, but you can see what what he can be and what he is capable of. And if this is your 4th in a rotation, then a lot is made of losing the 180 innings that Brady Singer provided. And I understand that entirely. That is a massive loss. But if Chris Bubich is able to go out and throw like this on a regular basis, and you get Michael Lorenzen can get you into the 5th or the 6th most starts like he did tonight, then you're able to kind of fill that gap in the aggregate when you know that Reagan's Lugo Waka are going to man the post and they're going to give you everything they got as high level starters in the big leagues every single time through. So it's a really good start for the starting rotation. Chris Bubich got the only quality start, which is kind of funny because I thought it was the best start for sure of the first 4, but it was not obviously the likely candidate. So really good to see from Chris Bubich. The offense was great, and I'll talk about some of these other guys in a minute, but I want to give a ton of shine to Jonathan India, who I think immediately has gone up the fan favorite power rankings very quickly for people in this city to watch him play. And he earned a ton of favor in that clubhouse, I'm sure. Gets earholed with 99, as we talked about on the last episode, from Class A. Looked scary. They made it seem like the talk was maybe he was going to be out for a couple of days and get evaluated, non-concussive, but that'll wear on you a little bit. That'll sit with you. Nope, he's out there the next day for a day game after a flight, and goes out there 3 for 5, 2 RBIs, and plays a solid third base all game. That's one tough SOB, and that's how you ingratiate yourself with your teammates and with the fans in this city. Really awesome to see that, and it earned a ton of respect from me for sure. It would have been very easy to sit that one out and kind of give yourself a day after that happening, and I would not have blamed him and I wouldn't have criticized him for it. But I feel even better the fact that he was out there to man the post and continuing to do what he does and getting on base for this team. 3 games already this season where he got on base 3 times. And that's in 5 games. Now a 5-game sample, but even with a 4-game sample, the Royals only had 14 such games by leadoff hitters last season. Only 5, or only 14. So what he has done already is exactly what the Royals wanted from him. And he's just going to continue to get better. I believe he's going to continue to get better. He's had a really good start. Michael Garcia continues to impress. The home run he hit was very impressive at the bottom of the order. Played center field, did okay. There was one ball I thought he misjudged a hair, but it got hit over his head regardless. But he's pulling the ball efficiently. He's continuing to hit the ball hard. He was in the 9 spot and worked 2 walks to get it back to India as a de facto second leadoff hitter. Maybe that we start to see that as the season progresses. That's the role that he provides for this team at the bottom of the order. A lot to like there. And obviously, Bobby got in. Salvi hit the home run. Like there were guys, the 3 main run producers all had a run batted in. But 8 different guys that got RBIs, including even Kevin Biggio off the bench. Hunter Renfroe came through huge with 2 RBI single late in the first inning when Massey comes up, gets the double. It only scores 1 though because the ball bounced up over the fence for a ground rule double. So Bobby couldn't score on it. So 2 outs, Salvi comes up and strikes out. Renfroe comes up, and you're like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen here. And he hooks the ball down the line, 2 RBIs, and you're off and running 3-0. Mark Canha came through. A lot of guys, Michael obviously did. It was great to see all of those guys and some of the guys that are more unlikely or guys that the Royals need to depend on to be able to come through, and it not put all the weight on Vinny, Bobby, and Salvi to be the only run producers. That was so much the offense last season for it to be a lot of these guys to come through in one game. It was good to see. Now we need to see it more. Obviously, it didn't happen tonight if you watched on Tuesday night, but it was good to see that it is a possibility, and it is something that you can see from time to time. It doesn't have to be every night. It doesn't have to be everybody in one night, but can one or two guys put together a solid game and bring in that run when the Royals need it, and it not just be 2, 3, 4 in the lineup. One more note here before we move on. Daniel Lynch had 2 great innings again in kind of the multi-inning role that they have him in. Nick Capel from Royals Director of Media Relations, he tweeted that Daniel Lynch now has the 4th longest scoreless inning streak by a reliever, 24 2/3 innings. That dates back to August 26th of last year when he really established himself in the bullpen down the stretch of the year. Only guys ahead of him were Lewis Coleman, Kelvin Herrera, and obviously Wade Davis. So he has continued to fortify that spot for himself in the bullpen, and I feel confident when he comes out, and they're just going to continue putting him in that spot, and you'll like what you see for sure. We're going to talk about for a little bit. We'll talk about tonight's Tuesday night's game and get you in, a preview for the game for Wednesday, which should be a lot more fun to watch. We'll do that right after this.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
Success in real estate takes more than vision. It takes the right financial partner. When someone takes something rundown and turns it into something great, that's called a comeback story, like Brain Group. They take distressed properties here in KC, completely rework them, and then turn them into valuable real estate. But that kind of work needs the right bank behind it. Enter Emprise Bank. They're not about cookie-cutter loans. They saw Brain Group's vision, backed them, and now they're making big moves in Kansas City real estate. Talk about your partner in possible. Emprise doesn't do one-size-fits-all financing. They invest in potential and back growth. Visit emprisebank.com/KC to learn more. Emprise Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Are you ready to win real money this March? Struggling to choose which team will pull off an upset? Forget about the teams. All you need to focus on are player stats to rack up big cash prizes with DraftKings Pick 6. And when it comes to the massive payouts, DraftKings dunks over all the competition. Pick 6 is available in most states, including Missouri, California, Texas, Georgia, and more. Track your picks for a shot to win huge cash prizes. It's as simple as that. All you have to do is pick which players you think will score, rebound, get assists, and fill up the stat sheet, and you can win. It's that easy. So turn your college basketball knowledge into cash today. New players get $50 in Pick 6 credits instantly with just a $5 entry. So download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN for new customers to play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited, 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promo.
As I mentioned in the beginning, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button on all platforms and hit those notification bells on all platforms as well, audio and video, so that when our episodes go up. We appreciate the support. Appreciate the support over on YouTube. I noticed we're around 670 subscribers. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, be sure to hit that button. Let's try and get to 700 by. Can we get to 700 by the end of the month? It's April 1st. Let's get there by the end of the month here. All right, there's not a lot to talk about on Tuesday. The Royals lost 5-0, and it wasn't that close. It was pretty tough all night long. I will say, though, to stick on the positive side for the most part, Michael Lorenzen did a really good job tonight for what the Royals are asking of him. And when you think of your fifth starter, can you get me into the sixth? Can you not get blown up? Can you just keep the team in the game? And I thought he did that. At least through 5, got away from him in the 6th. He gave up 2. He gave up a home run to Eric Haas, and I thought was a good pitch, down and in, change up, and dude just kind of dropped the barrel on it and got it out. Other than that, I thought he pitched fairly well. 7 strikeouts, had everything kind of working. If he's gonna be able to give you 5 or possibly 6 most nights, give up 3-ish a night, I feel pretty good about where the Royals are going to be, given that's pretty much your expectation for a fifth starter, and he can swing into the bullpen if they need to. They want to give Daniel Lynch a starter, Noah Cameron, something like that. So there's some versatility there. I thought the stuff was really good. He was up to 96, sink, cut. He had the curveball, the changeup was working for him. It was a good start, even if necessarily the results weren't always there. I thought there was good things to take away from that. Outside of that, there wasn't a lot. The Royals did the only positive thing I can say on the offensive side, no Vinny tonight. And that was then maybe that's the indication that it was going to be a little bit of a tough night, not having him in the lineup. But I understand why the Royals are doing it. They said it was going to be it was just mitigation of the injury because he's still dealing with the hamstring. It's not necessarily flared up or bothering him. It's really just trying to keep him as healthy as possible. And I understand why they're doing that. I know that it seems weird to give a guy an off day 4 games into the year. But if you look at the Royals schedule, they have the off day on Thursday. Then they don't have another off day until April 21st. They played 17 straight games in 17 games in 17 days, with a pretty long East Coast road trip in there as well. So you need to keep guys as healthy as possible. That's why we've seen some of the bullpen management that we have. It was a 4-run game with the heart of the order coming, but they go to Sam Long for an inning and 2/3 and then Schreiber for the 8th. No Estevez, no Ursig, no Harvey, anything like that. But that's because they have to be able to keep those guys ready to go, and hopefully for tomorrow and then the off day. But then 17 games in 17 days. I know it sounds nice to be able to throw Ursig maybe in the 8th tonight or the 7th to keep the game close, but you don't want to burn that guy if you might need him on Friday or Saturday. So that's part of bullpen management as well. It's not just managing this game, it's managing the next few as well. Even if you're really you're obviously focusing on this game, no kidding, but you have to be able to think about the next few and when you're going to be able to use guys as well. Especially when you really have 4 that you legitimately trust in high leverage situations, 1 multi-inning guy, and 3 that at this point it's kind of a coin toss. John Schreiber, the thing with him has been he's a ground ball guy. Well, he's given up 2 home runs already in 2 innings. He gave up 1 in 46 last year. It's not great. He has to be better. I thought Long pitched pretty well tonight, which was a good bounce back for him. He gave up the couple of runs, but they were inherited. So it is what it is. He got the ground ball that he needed. It was a slow 2-hopper. Couldn't turn it in time. It is what it is. Other than the offense tonight, man, you're not going to win a lot of ball games when you go 0 for 5 burners in scoring position and leave 8 on. That you're just not going to win many games that way. It doesn't matter who's out there. That's a pretty good indicator that you're having a rough night offensively, and it comes on the heels of a day where you had your best game offensively. Sometimes that's just the way baseball works. You quote unquote use up all your hits or all your runs in one game, and you don't save any for the next day, which I know sounds stupid, but it's the thing that baseball players joke about. But this is one that they're going to flush, and they're going to go back out there tomorrow and go and try and win a game against the Brewers. With Cole Reagans on the mound, you feel good of your chances with your ace on the mound coming off a loss. Freddie Peralta coming off a pretty tough outing on opening day against the New York Yankees. So both guys looking to kind of right the ship after some uncharacteristic first start of the season. It's an early pitch, 12:10. Thing to watch for. Royals already owned one in rubber games this season, and that's where its series is tied. Winner wins the series. They were 4-13 in those games last year. I didn't realize they were that poor in some of those spots. Chance to get one early and feel good going into the off day. Happy flight back, get a happy flight back to Kansas City before you get Baltimore for a wild card rematch, a rematch with the team that is going to factor into the AL playoff picture in the wild card, presumably. So winning these games is super important. You got a lot of tough teams coming up. I'll get their schedule pulled up. We can look into that really quick if we want to look ahead of hair, but these are the types of games that you have to win, and especially against a Brewers team that is underachieving at this point. To be able to go and steal a series on the road here, get to 500 before you play the Orioles, and then you get the Twins at home for 4, and the Twins have not played great. The White Sox blasted them the other day. Then you get and then you got a 10-game road trip, all on the East Coast. You get the Guardians for 3, the Yankees for 3, and then the Tigers for 4 before you come back home. And that's that 17 games and 17-day stretch. It's going to be a big test for this team early on. We'll see how they respond. I believe in the makeup of this team. I believed in it last year, and I'm going to continue to. They showed us. We all waited for the bottom to fall out last year, and sure, September was dicey, but there were other times where it could have gotten away from them, and it just never did, because they have the right mentality, and they have the right guy leading them to go, okay, hey, that happened. Today happened. That sucked. And we're going to move on to tomorrow, and we're going to go out and try and win a ball game and not worry about what happened yesterday. We can't worry about yesterday. It's in the past. And with that mentality, I feel confident the Royals are going to go out there and find a way to win tomorrow. I feel good with Cole Reagans on the mound. I will always feel good with Cole Reagans on the mound that they're going to find a way to get a dub and steal one on the road and get back on a flight, come back home for a fun weekend. Hopefully they get the baseball in. Looks like a rainy weekend possibly in Kansas City. But regardless, you get some home games, and you got to win those, and you got to win these games against winnable teams. Before I get out of here, we are going to do Toast Game, sponsored by Holiday Distillery, and I got to give it to Chris Bubich. I talked about it earlier. He was fantastic. Every bit of what you could have expected for him, he gave you that and more. And the game obviously got out of hand, but even when it was still in the balance a little bit, 4-0, 5-0, he still went out there and did the job and kept the Royals in the game, got out of trouble. And did whatever he could. So credit to him, and I can't wait to see his next start, see if he can replicate it. So shout out to Chris Bubich. That is going to do it for One Royal Way today here on Tuesday. Look forward to talking to you guys after this game. We'll talk about that, and then we'll do a bit of a deep dive on the first 6 games of the season, see where we're at. A little stock watch. I'll figure out exactly how I want to do it. A little bit of minor league talk possibly with the rosters coming out, minor league opening day. Coming up here soon, and then into that series against Baltimore, which is going to be, it's early, but it's a big series. I look forward to talking about that with you guys then. I'll talk to you then. Take care.